I'm a ferry captain who refuses passengers named Morrison. Today I found out why. I'm the ferry captain at Silver Lake, taking tourists to the island in the center. Before every departure, I make the same announcement. Anyone here with the last name Morrison? No Morrisons allowed on this ferry. If you're a Morrison, please exit now. The ticket office checks IDs, so there shouldn't be any Morrisons aboard. My routine question puzzles tourists, but they don't really care. Until today, when a passenger complained, what kind of bullshit rule is that? Why can't Morrisons ride the ferry? That's discrimination. He didn't know that. If there's a Morrison on board, everyone on this ferry will die. Chapter 1. I walked up to the complainer with a stern face. ID now. He was a young guy with a cocky attitude, the type you know means trouble. Seeing me, a woman, approach him, he got even more arrogant. Why should I show you my ID? You're just the ferry driver. Routine check. Making sure you're not a Morrison. That made him angrier. This is discrimination. I'm recording this and posting it online. Others chimed in. Yeah, why can't Morrisons buy tickets? We all paid the same price. I ignored them, staring straight at the man. ID. He pulled out his phone and started recording. Look at this, everyone. Silver Lake discriminates against people named Morrison. They won't let Morrisons on the ferry. He thought the video would intimidate me. I didn't budge. My assistant Jake stepped in to help. Sir, please stop recording. This is park policy. People have complained online before and the park just closed the island tours completely. Our owner takes this strange rule very seriously. You're only hurting future visitors. The man didn't believe it. You're threatening me with closing the attraction? I don't believe you'd close such a profitable spot. A middle-aged local man spoke up from the back. Young man, he's not lying. You can look it up online. I'm local, been to the island many times. It used to be closed to the public. When they opened it, this was the only rule, no Morrisons on the ferry. Some Morrison tourist got refused before, made a fuss online. When people came to protest, the park just shut down the island. Only reopened after tourists petitioned for it. Yeah, I read about that when researching this place. The island is so beautiful, like paradise. That's why people tolerate this weird rule. A young woman backed up the local man. Everyone nodded, confirming they knew about this. The man saw everyone agreeing and realized his video was useless. He put his phone away sheepishly. But he was still defiant. Stupid rule. What did Morrisons ever do to the park owner? I remained expressionless. ID. He grumbled, they already checked at the ticket office. I'm not a Morrison. Just start the damn boat. I said coldly, no ID, no ferry. You're really pushing it. He jumped up like he was going to hit me. Jake quickly blocked him. Sir, please calm down. She's the only one who can pilot the ferry to the island. If she doesn't sail, nobody goes. Please, just show her your ID. Jake's friendly approach worked. Others joined in, it's just an ID, takes 2 seconds. Don't delay our trip. Exactly. Reluctantly, the man pulled out his ID and shoved it at me. Here. I checked it carefully. Tyler Brennan, not a Morrison. The photo matched. I handed it back and walked to the helm. Start the engine. Chapter 2. Passengers started complaining about the weird rule, all talking over each other. Someone joked the owner's ex must have been a Morrison, got dumped and held a grudge. If only my idiot brother had an ex-girlfriend to begin with. I couldn't tell them the terrifying truth behind this weird rule. Anyone named Morrison who enters this lake dies a horrible death. If a Morrison is on the ferry, everyone aboard dies. Most people wouldn't believe such supernatural nonsense. Lost in thoughts about the lake's past, I didn't notice the water slowly turning black, the sky darkening. I looked up at the sky's color. Something was wrong. I sped toward the island, but the ferry moved slower and slower. Something had happened. I stood up at the bow, voice harsh, there's a Morrison on board. Come out now. Everyone looked at each other, scared by my dark expression. When no one moved, I shouted, Jake, check IDs. Jake started checking everyone's ID again. Someone complained, you already checked at ticketing. Why again? Some refused to cooperate with Jake. I roared, anyone who doesn't cooperate gets thrown overboard. The uncooperative one looked shocked. Are you insane? Throwing people in the lake for not showing ID? That's murder. One person dies, or everyone dies together. My eyes were cold. The person felt afraid and reluctantly showed their ID. Jake finished checking and came to me. Captain Harper, they're all clear. As the lake turned completely black and light faded from the sky, I frowned and thought. Impossible. There's definitely a Morrison on board. The thing at the bottom of the lake only targets Morrisons. IDs are checked, can we go now? What's the holdup? The ferry had stopped completely in the lake. I laughed coldly. You tell me, can the ferry move? Only then did passengers notice something was wrong. What's happening? I could see the island before, now it's gone? Someone looked back toward shore. That's not right. We haven't been sailing long, why can't we see the shore? Passengers panicked. Why is everything dark? I can't see anything. I spoke gravely. The Morrison needs to come forward, or everyone dies. No point hiding it now. They'd soon discover the lake's horror anyway. They'd believe me then. Captain, what's going on? What's happening? I stayed silent. The Morrisons still hadn't revealed themselves. The ferry started rocking. Black mist slowly surrounded the boat. What's happening? There's no wind, why is the boat rocking? It rocked harder. They grabbed the rails desperately to avoid being thrown out. Ah! A woman's scream rang out. Everyone looked at her. There's a hand under the boat grabbing me. Chapter 3. Everyone went pale, looking over the side. There's nothing. You're seeing things. Nothing was visible under the boat. The woman insisted, it's real. A hand, deathly pale. People looked again nervously. The next second, countless hands emerged from the lake, grabbing the boat's edges and shaking violently. Ah! Screams erupted. I pulled paper talismans from my pocket and threw them skyward. Back. The talismans scattered, flying toward the hands at the boat's edge. When the hands touched the paper, they retreated into the water. The talismans stuck firmly around the boat. The black mist dissipated. It's okay now. Everyone sighed in relief, looking at each other in shock. Who says it's okay? My voice was icy. Everyone turned to me. Last time, the Morrison needs to come forward, or everyone dies. Captain, what's really happening? Someone asked. Everyone watched me, waiting for an answer. There's a spirit in the lake. After 1,000 years she became a demon. She has a grudge against Morrisons. Any Morrison who crosses this lake dies. I scanned their faces, looking for clues to identify the Morrison. Really? Ghosts don't exist. Someone didn't believe it, but others countered, we all just saw it. You don't believe, but we do. The person muttered, maybe it's park special effects. I cut them off coldly. Believe it or not, find the Morrison and we might live. Tyler Brennan, who'd caused trouble earlier, spoke up. Why would finding the Morrison help? You said Morrisons die crossing the lake. I snorted. Throw the Morrison overboard. The rest of us live. Everyone looked at each other, seeming upset by my cruelty. Tyler was furious. That's murder. I told you before boarding, no Morrisons allowed. They insisted on coming, that's suicide. They want to die, I won't stop them. But they can't drag us down too. I looked around. Your choice. Die with that person, or sacrifice them and live. Think about it, you did nothing wrong. This is your undeserved disaster. People exchanged glances, silently agreeing. Humans are selfish. They want to live, even if it means sacrificing others. Seeing their silence, Tyler panicked. Don't listen to her. If no one confesses, she dies too. Look how calm she is, she must have a way to survive. Jake looked at me too. Captain Harper, it's still a human life. Deaths at the park require compensation. Let's save everyone if we can. I snorted. That demon is a 1,000-year-old spirit. I'm 25. How could I possibly defeat her? At most I can save myself. I can't save anyone else, especially not the Morrison who caused this. Hearing this, everyone truly panicked. They'd thought we were all in the same boat. Now knowing I couldn't save them, they were terrified. Jake was scared too. Captain, just save me. I'm just an employee, I did nothing wrong. I don't want to die. Exactly. You're not the only innocent one. Everyone else bought tickets for a nice trip. If that Morrison hadn't insisted on boarding, you'd all be fine. The local middle-aged man rushed to the center, shouting, Morrison, come out. You got us into this mess. What kind of coward hides? Others joined in. Yeah, come out. Stop hurting people. Tyler stood up again. Don't. Listen to her. The boat's fine now, her talismans work. She can save us. She's just trying to scare us. Chapter 4. As soon as he finished speaking, a fierce wind rose from the lake. Rain poured down. The ferry rocked violently. Passengers grabbed chairs and poles to avoid falling overboard. I stood at the bow, completely unaffected. The rocking intensified. Several people were flung into the air, barely holding onto chairs to avoid falling into the lake. I walked to Tyler. You're the Morrison. Tyler hugged a pole desperately, denying it. You're talking nonsense. I'm not a Morrison. You checked my ID yourself. He was lying. Only he cared about the Morrison's fate, afraid everyone would throw them overboard. I slowly approached him. Morrison or not, we'll find out. Tyler panicked. What are you doing? Throw you overboard. If you're the Morrison, we live. I grabbed Tyler's hands to drag him to the edge. He screamed, this is murder. I was expressionless. Life or death situation. Can't worry about that. I grabbed Tyler and pulled him toward the edge. Tyler started crying. I'm not a Morrison. Really? If you kill me and you're wrong, you've murdered an innocent person. I paused, looking back at him. He thought I was convinced and smiled with relief. The next second, his smile froze. Compared to everyone's lives, one mistake is better than everyone dying. I yanked hard. Tyler, caught off guard, lost his balance and fell toward the water. His waist hit the rail hard before he flipped overboard. With a splash, he was gone. After Tyler fell, the wind and waves stopped. The water calmed. Everyone sat on the deck, sighing with relief. So it was him. He somehow changed his name to Board. Almost killed us all. Jake came to me, complaining about Tyler. What kind of person ignores warnings about no Morrisons and Boards anyway? Almost killed us. The local man complained too. Exactly. Good thing the captain figured out the Morrison, or we'd all be dead. Finally safe. Thought I was done for. Passengers chattered among themselves. But I looked grim, gazing at the sky. Jake noticed and asked, "What's wrong?" No, the sky was still dark. I looked at the lake. The water remained black, the boat motionless. The demon was still here. The Morrison was still on board. Unless that person wasn't a Morrison at all. I was shocked. The Morrison is still on board. Jake's face fell. Captain, that's not funny. Chapter 5. I ignored him and walked to the bow. If the Morrison doesn't come out today, we all die here. Passengers slowly stood up. The local man asked, "What's happening? Didn't you throw the Morrison overboard? How can there be another?" Before I could answer, another gust of wind hit. Such strong wind. People couldn't open their eyes. Some thin passengers were blown backward. I grabbed the rail, shouting, "Hold on to something heavy. Don't move." Everyone grabbed whatever they could, not daring to move. The wind grew stronger, rocking the boat. People were blown around. Some were even blown into the air, desperately holding rails to avoid being swept away. Jake shouted, "Captain, this wind is unnatural. The boat will break apart." I knew the boat would break. This was the demon's rage building. I pulled out a large talisman and threw it skyward. The talisman flew toward the wind. In 3 seconds, it was shredded. This was bad. Hee hee hee. An eerie woman's laughter came from below the lake, sending chills down spines. What's that sound? Jake looked at me. I felt my heart sink. She was angry. The person we threw overboard wasn't a Morrison. She hated being deceived. Deception was what she hated most. The laughter grew closer. The wind on our skin felt like invisible hands, terrifying. Jake was near tears. "Captain, think of something." I cursed, "What can I do?" She became a ghost because of betrayal. She thinks we deceived her by throwing the wrong person. She's gone berserk, completely uncontrollable. I don't even know if I can survive her. What can I do? Everyone's heart sank. Then what do we do? I don't want to die. I'm only 18. I ignored their cries. Priority is finding the real Morrison. Jake, think again, were all the IDs correct? Jake wailed, I checked everyone 3 times. They were all correct. No, if Tyler wasn't a Morrison, why did he defend them at every turn? He must be connected to the Morrison. Was Tyler alone or with others? Jake looked confused. I don't know. Tickets are individual. You'd have to ask the ticket office if he came with someone. We have no signal. How can I ask the ticket office? I was speechless. Jake fell silent too. The wind grew stronger. The boat was about to capsize. If it capsizes, we all die. I looked up at everyone. Did anyone see who Tyler came with? They were being thrown around, unable to hear me clearly. Communication was impossible. Like this. I pulled out a blank yellow paper. Touching my finger to my forehead, golden light emerged and moved with my finger. I wrote symbols on the paper with my finger, then threw it skyward. The paper expanded infinitely, covering the boat. The symbols glowed gold. When wind hit the paper, it bounced back. Without wind, the boat stabilized. I shouted again, did anyone see who came with Tyler? Everyone was still in shock from the ordeal. Don't know, I boarded before him. Didn't notice. Hey, did you see? No, who pays attention to that? I saw. Chapter 6. I looked toward the voice. A young man with bleached hair. He stepped forward. Tyler came with his girlfriend. I noticed because she was really pretty, so I looked a few extra times. Where is she? I walked to him, asking. He looked around, his gaze stopping at the furthest seat in the back. I followed his gaze. A woman in a white dress cowered there, trembling. Seeing us all looking at her, she denied it. He's lying. I don't know Tyler. I'm not. I was watching you before boarding. You two bought tickets holding hands, only separated when boarding. You didn't even sit together. I specifically sat next to you. No wonder I hadn't seen the woman in white sitting near Tyler when I confronted him. They'd been separated from the start. I walked toward the woman. What's your name? Captain, don't listen to him. He was groping me as soon as he got on board. He's not a good person. The bleached guy got angry. Yeah, I copped a feel because you're pretty, but I'm not lying. My life's at stake, I'm saving myself first. I ignored their argument, staring straight at the woman. Your name? Seeing my intensity, she cried, I'm Rachel Coleman. My ID is in my purse but it fell in the lake. But I'm really not a Morrison. That guy checked earlier. Rachel pointed at Jake. Jake came over. Captain, I remember her. She is Rachel Coleman. Pretty memorable name. So much talk. Morrison or not, just throw her overboard and find out. The bleached guy moved to throw Rachel overboard. I stopped him. No. Why not? You threw Tyler pretty quickly. Now it's a pretty girl and you won't? This is no time for girl power. Others agreed. Yeah, she came with Tyler. Something's fishy. Throw her over and see. If she's really a Morrison, we live. They surrounded us, ready to act. The demon is already enraged. If Rachel isn't a Morrison, it will increase her fury. Then even finding the real Morrison won't calm her anger. We'll all die. Everyone panicked. Then what? This time, whoever goes overboard must be a Morrison. I spoke firmly. Everyone fell silent. Someone muttered, how can we be sure? IDs all checked out. Who can tell if she's a Morrison? Rachel cried, you threw my boyfriend overboard without proof. He wasn't a Morrison. Now you want to throw me too? This is murder. Everyone looked at each other, afraid to speak. But I stared at Rachel with an eerie smile. Who says I can't be sure she's a Morrison? Jake asked surprised, Captain, you have a way? Yes. The lake demon can precisely identify Morrisons. Everyone's faces changed. Jake asked nervously, Captain, what do you mean? Chapter 7. I ignored Jake and walked to Rachel, grabbing her hand. Morrison or not, we'll soon know. I dragged Rachel to the bow. She struggled desperately. Let go. What are you doing? Jake, tie her up. Jake immediately found rope and tied Rachel up. Throwing her directly for the demon to kill, if she's not a Morrison, the demon will be angry. But if we throw a corpse, even if it's not a Morrison, it's just a body. She won't think we're deceiving her. If it is a Morrison, she'll let us go. Rachel went pale. This is murder. I already murdered Tyler. One more doesn't matter. I looked around at everyone. Besides, no one will report me. I'm doing this for everyone's lives. You two just had an unfortunate accident. The bleached guy spoke first. Right. The captain's saving us. We won't tell. Others agreed. She dies or we die. The captain's not wrong. Some couldn't bear to watch and turned away, silently consenting. I went to the cabin and pulled out a knife. This knife's a bit dull. Might not kill you in one strike. Bear with it. I raised the knife to stab Rachel's heart. She screamed, don't. Kill me. I didn't stop, stabbing hard at her heart. Just as the knife was about to pierce her heart, Rachel somehow broke free of the ropes and grabbed the blade. Her voice became deep and rough, mere mortal, you think you can kill me? I smiled. Found you. Rachel snatched the knife from me and stabbed back. I kept retreating, dodging her attacks. Her movements were ghost-like, too fast. I could only dodge, not counterattack. I shouted, Miranda Holloway. Come help me. The next second, a woman in ancient red robes leaped from the water, flying to block Rachel's attack. Tyler was also thrown from the water onto the deck, unconscious. Miranda and I stood together. William Morrison, finally found you. Rachel suddenly understood. This was all a trap. Miranda's eyes filled with tears. 1,000 years, William Morrison. I've waited 1,000 years. You finally appeared. Rachel snorted. 1,000 years, and you're still here. How could I leave before you died? Miranda Holloway and William Morrison were once an ordinary couple. William was a scholar preparing for exams. Miranda was a seamstress. They should have lived peaceful lives together. But after William passed his exams and became an official, fate changed course. The new emperor hated witchcraft and ordered the execution of the court mystic. By chance, William saved the mystic. To repay William, the mystic taught him a spell. The spell of immortality. Everyone desires immortality, including William. Following the mystic's instructions, he found Silver Lake and traded Miranda and their unborn child's lives to the lake monster for immortality. This was the mystic's immortality spell, sacrifice loved ones to the monster in exchange for eternal life. He tied Miranda's hands and feet and threw her into the lake. The monster ate Miranda and in exchange gave William magical power. From then on, William could possess his descendants' bodies, living endlessly through others' identities. As long as he had descendants, he could live forever. Miranda, consumed by the monster, became a vengeful spirit seeking revenge on William. She swore eternal enmity with all Morrisons. Any Morrison crossing Silver Lake would be killed by her. Chapter 8. My ancestors came here to slay the monster and met Miranda. Miranda was William's victim, an innocent. After killing the monster, my ancestor didn't kill Miranda but let her stay. My ancestor bought Silver Lake, forbidding Morrisons from entering to prevent Miranda from killing more. My ancestor also promised Miranda to help her revenge by finding William. Once William died, Miranda's vengeful spirit would dissipate and she could reincarnate. But William was cunning. My ancestors searched for ages without finding him. But my ancestor knew he'd return eventually. Because the monster was dead, William's power from the monster grew weaker. With each body transfer, his soul weakened too. Not knowing the monster was dead, he'd definitely return seeking solutions. So my brother and I deliberately opened Silver Lake, forbidding Morrisons. If a Morrison insisted on entering, it would be William. Tyler must be William's descendant. William hid in Tyler's body. After I threw him in the lake, he transferred to Rachel's body. Rachel and Tyler must be more than boyfriend and girlfriend. They're married. Rachel is Tyler's wife, technically a Morrison descendant, allowing William to transfer to her body. I still don't understand one thing. Tyler's surname is Brennan. Why did Miranda sense he was a Morrison? William laughed. Wonder about it in hell. William attacked. Miranda and I fought him together. William had lived 1,000 years and become a demon, quite powerful. Though Miranda was also a 1,000-year demon, they were evenly matched. I assisted with talismans but had little effect. Miranda yelled angrily, "Where's your sword? Use it to kill him." I stayed silent. Miranda's ghostly power could directly attack William's demon soul inside. Rachel. My talismans could too, but my sword couldn't. My sword would hit both Rachel's body and William's soul. Rachel was human. I couldn't harm the innocent. Pushing Tyler overboard and attacking Rachel were just an act to force William out. Miranda and I had agreed she couldn't harm humans. William saw my hesitation and focused his attacks on me. He turned water into ice blades, shooting them at me. I blocked with talismans. He attacked with Rachel's body. I couldn't dodge in time. His palm struck my chest. I coughed up blood. Harper. Miranda flashed in front of me, fighting William. But William kept dodging her attacks and coming for me. I could only defend with talismans, barely holding on. William laughed. Stupid. Getting hurt to protect unrelated lives. Miranda, this is your backup. Too weak. Miranda looked at me disapprovingly. Harper, this is no time for mercy. If William doesn't die, we die. I know. But I couldn't sacrifice innocence for my own life. If I killed Rachel to get William, how was I different from him? I wasn't merciful, but righteous. Without righteousness in your heart, you become a demon. And unworthy of being a Holloway. Chapter 9. I dodged too slowly and William hit me again. I crashed onto the deck, coughing blood. Miranda tried to help but wasn't fast enough. William formed a blade from demonic energy, stabbing at me. You die, Miranda becomes easy to handle. As the blade was about to pierce me, I suddenly rose, grabbing William's hand and chanting. The chant left my mouth with golden light, trapping William. William screamed in pain, ah. The next second, William fled Rachel's body, floating in soul form. Rachel passed out completely. I smiled internally. Success. I'd been playing weak to make William overconfident. When he got close, I used the spell to force him from Rachel's body. This was my family's secret art, it could destroy demons completely. But it required trapping. The demon first. And William inside Rachel's body was already trapped. To avoid the spell's erosion, he had to leave Rachel. Without concern for Rachel, I could fight freely. I summoned my greatsword, flying forward to battle William. Miranda joined in to help. With the greatsword's power, William was soon badly wounded. William couldn't believe it. Impossible. Why is your sword so powerful? It's my family heirloom. The greatsword, carrying my ancestors' demon-slaying power, could destroy any demon. Just being hit by its energy dispersed demonic power. We beat William back steadily. About to be killed, he looked toward the deck. With one glance, I knew his plan. He wanted to return to Tyler's body to escape my sword. As he flew down, I flew to block him. You think I'd give you that chance? As I spoke, the greatsword flew out, piercing William's body. William's form began breaking apart. He screamed, I'm immortal. This can't be. Immortality bought with others' lives should have ended long ago. William's body turned to fragments, dissipating into nothing. After he vanished, the black energy around Miranda disappeared too. Her vengeful spirit was gone. Miranda watched William disappear, first laughing, then crying. I finally avenged my unborn child. I flew to her, expression dark. You've been corrupted and killed people. Now without the corruption, you can't reincarnate. Like William, you'll dissipate into nothing. I know. Your ancestor Harper warned me. That's why I asked him to help me get revenge. He couldn't bear it but agreed anyway. As long as I got revenge, I don't care. I sighed. What ancestor Harper promised, I fulfilled. Your wish is granted. Go in peace. Miranda nodded. Harper, thank you. With that, Miranda completely vanished. The sky gradually brightened. The shoreline became visible again. I flew back to the ferry. Everyone stared at me in shock after witnessing everything. Jake approached nervously. Captain, you're working with ghosts? I ignored him and walked to Tyler and Rachel. Chapter 10. They slowly woke up. Tyler saw me and panicked. Don't come near me. Don't kill me. I don't want to die. Rachel looked confused. Honey, weren't you thrown overboard? Why are you still here? As I suspected, William possessed Rachel after Tyler was thrown in the lake. The ghost is gone. Morrisons can cross the lake now. Tell the truth. Tyler was still stubborn. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm not a Morrison. Your ancestor William Morrison is destroyed. Still lying? Hearing William Morrison's name, Tyler froze. I told him what happened after. He looked at everyone. Seeing no surprise on their faces, he knew he was exposed and stopped lying. Rachel also lowered her head and said quietly, I thought he just wanted the thrill of challenging park rules. When buying tickets, he said he was afraid of being caught and affecting me, so we sat separately after boarding. I never expected this. The truth was out. Tyler Morrison only hid being a Morrison. He hadn't committed any terrible crimes. I had no right to punish him. But he disregarded everyone's lives, including his wife's. Their complaints and anger weren't my concern. I walked back to the wheelhouse and slowly steered toward the island. Starting tomorrow, the park would no longer ban Morrisons from the ferry. The island would be open to everyone. The end.